Hi, folks. Welcome to what we think is going to be called the Business of Machining podcast. My name is John
My name is John as well, John Grimsmo.
and John Saunders. We thought we would introduce ourselves, talk about our story, why we do what we do, why we know each other, and why we are here today talking really to each other. That was our idea behind this podcast. Was it's not about you, the listener. It's about me and John. No, we're kidding. But this is John and I have had these Friday morning sessions where we talk about business and machining and our goals, and we realized maybe this would be a really good sort of intimate, raw podcast. I'm getting ahead of myself though.
Yeah.
Thoughts, John?
Yeah, it's we've been having these sort of business/therapy chats with each other every Friday morning for maybe, what do you think, 6-8 months?
Yeah.
And they've been really, really good, and we go over some really good stuff that we figure some people might like to listen to. And actually, our friend Rob Lockwood is the one who suggested the podcast a week or two ago. So yeah, we're calling you out, Rob.
Well, and it's awesome because I trust John enough. He knows my world. I don't have to spend a lot of time like I would with my wife or a friend explaining some things. But John's also distant enough where it's like maybe sometimes it's okay to air my dirty laundry or to share some numbers I wouldn't want to share with somebody that's next door to me. That's what and we talk about this on our Chip Break series. Well, we should explain what we do and who we are for the folks that don't know us. You want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. So I'm John, and my brother and I make very high-end quality custom pocket knives. We've got a YouTube channel under my name, John Grimsmo, Instagram page, and I've been passionate about machining, CNC machining, for the past 8 or 9 years or so, and it just translates into everything that I do, and it's my thing, like it's my passion, my hobby. It's pretty much the only hobby that I have, and it's become a business. And it's I think about it constantly. I was up till 1:30 last night working on Fusion, and just having fun with it.
It's funny. It gets me so excited because I'll introduce myself here in a second, but I feel like, I run a lot of YouTube videos and there's some amount of prep work and focus in a YouTube video. And this podcast is going to be a chance, I hope, for John and I to both kind of share the other side of our story. And maybe in a future, we want to keep these, I think, short for folks that want to listen to them on a commute or something. But we should do a future podcast where one of us or each of us on a separate podcast goes into more of our history and backstory. I haven't told a lot of it on my YouTube channel because I felt like it was irrelevant and so forth. But
or you tell it,
yes,
you tell it piecemeal here and there, like little bits, right?
Right,
like not the whole story.
Right. But it's amazing how paralleled our stories have been, which is I think one reason why it was so easy. It was so easy to build this friendship and this relation, this sort of whatever business. Like you said, sometimes you need therapy. Sometimes you need somebody to say, "Am I crazy? Why am I so frustrated or mad? Or am I focusing on the right thing today?"
Yeah. And as you said, the similarities are almost creepy. Like, we're the same age. We're both named John. We look kind of the same, build-wise and everything. We've got wife, 2 kids. Yeah. Same kind of business.
Yeah, right.
Like, it's kind of weird.
Right. No, we both had a lot of strong interest in computers growing up.
Yep.
Anyways, my name's John Saunders. I fell in love with machining as, just watching videos on the internet when videos on the internet didn't really exist, and tried to bring a product to market about 10 years ago. Really struggled with the engineer and then the machine shops that were hired because I couldn't be part of the conversation. And on a whim, bought a benchtop milling machine in 2006, right when YouTube was starting, and on a whim thought, if I'm interested in this, there must be 10 more people out there that want to see what these CNCs are. And so started putting videos out documenting my process of learning how to buy a machine, how to run it, how to get CAD, CAM, and all that, thinking I would have it for like a year, sell it, because all I wanted to do was be able to talk to people about how to get parts made and how to do stuff, and absolutely fell in love with it. And fast forward, we continue to run that NYC CNC YouTube channel. I think it's the leading channel on CNC. We've got about 140,000 subscribers as of January of 2017. Run a very small job shop. We do hands-on CNC training, and my focus for 2017, as I've discussed ad nauseum with John, is to ramp up the line of products that we make as well.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So our format for this podcast, and I would ask if you guys are okay with that, but you can't respond to us. So I suppose it's is to actually just have our normal conversations between me and John, and we hope to keep them as intimate as they've been, because that's the value of them. The value is not keeping everything always perfect and shiny. I mean, entrepreneurship is. I love it. I wouldn't trade it for the world, but it's lonely. It's hard. It's very easy to judge yourself. Nobody really is there to tell you you got an A on this paper or you got an A on this performance review or we're giving you a bonus like a day job. You live and die by what you do. And, I think should we stop talking to the audience, John, and just start talking to each other?
Sure.
Sweet.
Yeah. And then in future episodes, we can do more backstory.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. We're on that note. We are, John and I are both incredibly busy in a great way, in a way we sort of choose to be. But we're keeping this podcast raw because I would have to probably decline if we had to take the time to really, really edit it and go forth through it like the time I do on the YouTube.
Right.
So maybe that changes going forward. Maybe it doesn't work as a podcast, but it's going to be raw.
Yeah. I mean, this is Saturday morning, 7 a.m. as our families are waking up and we're squeezing a little bit of time to do this and chat with each other.
Yeah. So my day, I was frustrated because I was supposed to be working on our fixture plates.
Right. We talked yesterday morning and you said.
Right. On the Haas for Tormax. But so I'm taking that scraping class, and to scrape that parallel in, it's a cast part, and long story short, the cast piece has a twist in it, and when I clamp it down to the mill, you clamp the twist out of it. Okay. So when you machine it flat, it's flat, but as soon as you let off the clamps, the twist comes back. And it was really frustrating because I filmed footage, and I've never done this, but I was going to throw the footage away. But I'm going over to a friend's shop this morning who is a really good machinist. He's got a grinder as well that can cover the travel. And I'm going to see if I can get that thing. Because it's stupid to go to a 5-day grinding or scraping class and bring a part that you think is made worse by your own actions. Maybe. Anyway. So that's great, but it's frustrating because that's 9 o'clock. And I was hoping to spend today getting those fixture plate, more testing done and a couple prototypes made to send off to anodize.
Right. So how much of your day did that eat up yesterday?
Oh, that's today. I'm going at 9 o'clock today to that shop.
But I mean, yesterday messing with the twist and everything.
I gave up Thursday night on that.
Yeah.
I left the shop at 10 o'clock. Yesterday I had this is good, but I had a 3-hour meeting with my accountant for year-end stuff. I had a visitor, YouTube fan come by. I had another guest come by. The typical. So that's what I was telling you. If I can I'm trying to find this assistant, and if I find an assistant, I really think I'm going to give him or her my phone for the day,
right?
And have them answer it, have them respond, and then maybe it's like that Tim Ferriss kind of batching your emails into checking them every 4 hours, and maybe sit down with them every 3 or 4 hours and respond. They could grab me if something's urgent, but otherwise,
right.
I can give them the responses, and it feels very I don't feel like I'm important enough to have that, but it would be such a big force multiplier for my productivity.
Right. I can imagine it, and then you get to focus on actual work, not everything that comes up as it comes up.
Right.
And of course, there's all different theories and methodologies. Like I saw a video with Paul Akers, the lean guy, and he's like,
"Oh yeah,"
he's like, you have to do everything lean. You have to answer your emails as they come in, because otherwise, batch work sucks. So I mean, there's methods and theories for every different person, right? But you just got to find what works best for you. And for us, we like to invest, focus in something. If we get 4 hours uninterrupted on something, it's magical.
Oh my God, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Do you know? So I respond to so many emails now with videos because so many of them are Fusion related. Do you know though on my iPhone or Android, is there a way I can respond to an email with a audio clip?
I would love to do that. I don't know.
I thought Paul Akers said he does that, but I think he does. He uses the transcription.
He does it through iPhone. And he says I saw that video and he's like, it's super easy through iPhone, but it's not easy through Android or something. And I'm on Android.
Got it. I got to look into that because it's funny because it's a win-win because people like it. And
Yeah,
you
totally.
Can be more, it's just
Like
I was thinking about that.
sometimes on Instagram, I'll reply to people with a video because it's personal, because it's cool, and because nobody really gets that. I wish we could do that with email. I'm sure there's a way, but that would be very cool. And
this is
Paul Akers said, it's like faster and easier to just talk back to somebody.
Right.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Are you working today? I know you don't always work.
I try to take weekends off to spend some quality family time. But I'm definitely on the computer today at home. Yeah. Got a lot of admin stuff to do, a lot of email to catch up on. Kind of the dirty emails from the week that pile up that I never get to as they come, right? So got some catching up to do there.
How is ShipStation? Because you switched all your stuff over to ShipStation, right?
Yes, it's utterly fantastic. It took a 10-minute process down to a 1-minute process.
That's awesome. Yeah. And you just bought the label printer or what? A label printer and it works.
Yeah, a little Dymo 450 or something like that.
Right. Right.
Yeah, it works awesome.
Awesome. So we have training starting today actually and all next week.
Really?
Yeah, but it's good. My goal is to get. It's great. We finished the last job. I've been doing a much better job of telling people. This is very weird to share this all publicly, but I've been. We're basically turning off job shop work for the next 3 months. I had a really hard time doing that, as you know. But that's the way to make it easier is to say it's not forever. It's just for the next 2 months, and I'm not. That doesn't apply to existing customers, especially some of our obviously really good ones. So that's all off my plate. I got some year-end stuff done yesterday, so it really should be, clear.
Kind of a clean smooth, new year, yeah.
Right.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I tried out a new brand of end mill.
Really?
For the way that we machine the bevels on the Rask, we stand the blade edge up, and we take a 3/8 end mill, and we come in on the side, and we, mill the side.
This is what you have the custom, the molded fixture for, right?
Yes. Yeah,
awesome.
So it supports the already machined other side of the blade.
Right.
So up until now, I've been using a Lakeshore Carbide 6-flute end mill to do this, and never been blown away by the finish. I love Lakeshore Carbide. I use them for 90% of the stuff, but that 10% of the stuff has to get kind of specialized. A lot of Harvey tool and weirder stuff. I tried an IMCO end mill and it just chattered like crazy, even the fancier flute ones.
So this is funny because somebody said that to me 3 or 4 months ago, and I thought ENCO, the MSC offshoot, and then I now have learned and this is kind of one of those funny things that goes back to being a sort of outsider. You're saying IMCO, IMCO, which is super high end end mills,
right.
Okay.
And I can get IMCO end mills at my local distributor. Their shop is 5 minutes away from my shop, so that's nice. But when they chatter and don't work, then you're not satisfied with them. So, on Instagram, we've been hearing a lot about Destiny Tool.
Right.
And they have this Raptor end mill that's called a 3/6, a rougher and a finisher.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Alternating. Yeah.
So you look at the pitches at the end of the end mill, and instead of 6 evenly spaced flutes, there's 2 and then a big gap, and then 2 and then a big gap, and then 2. Yeah. And the theory is the first insert roughs, and then the second one wipes it and finishes.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. And when you look at it, you're like, this is different. I've never seen this before. And they're not that expensive. For a 3/8 end mill, I think it was $25, which is totally standard.
Yeah, wow, that's really good.
Yeah. But, I've never ordered from them. I had to order from Gem Tool Supply. It's a distributor, and I thought it would be...
Distributors are the best.
Yeah, I thought it would be a big deal, but it was just like ordering from Lakeshore. You just go to the website.
Oh, that's good.
I did it from my phone.
Okay.
And it was awesome.
Wow, that sounds really good.
To Canada in about a week or two, and I tried them out, and the results are breathtaking.
Seriously?
Yeah, and I can attribute it to not just the sharpness of the edge, but the toothiness, the grind quality of the end mill itself.
Right.
The Lakeshore Carbide one is leaving a very streaky finish.
Okay.
And the Destiny one like I was hoping for, it leaves just a beautiful, beautiful finish. It was crazy. Like the first test that I did, I showed it to Eric, and we were both like bugging our eyes.
So that's huge because that's going to reduce post machining finishing, right?
Right.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So there's 6 flutes, 3 finish, 3 rough. Are they the same? Are the flute? It's not the diameter, but but like is the radius from the center of the tool out to the leading edge of the flute? Does it differ?
I can't tell. I don't know.
Okay, because that would be like the wiper. I guess I need to see one of these or buy one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So for any steel, pretty finish machining you have to do, I would suggest getting some for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Do they do aluminum or is it a steel only thing?
Oh yeah, they have some. What do they call them? I forget what it's called. This one's called the Raptor. The aluminum ones are also called something else. I know that a bunch of the Instagram guys love them for aluminum as well.
And the distributor Gem is U.S.?
Yeah, they're in California.
Okay. Do you mind emailing me their? Well, I guess I'll just GEM.
JEM.
JEM. Got it.
Yeah, okay. Google that. You'll find their website. And awesome. I think they just put up this new online store, and it's great. Got it.
Okay, I'm adding that to my list. So here's a funny thing too. Like this is we were talking about this yesterday, but this is going back to like I'm not sometimes hitting my like weekly sort of mini goals because I end up accepting distractions and like talking about driving to Kentucky to pick up that grinder and then the Haas training guy coming. And I was talking to Yvonne last night about it, and it was literally like, and I think I'm a pretty disciplined person. And it was literally like just say no.
Yeah.
No, but like I don't know, how do I do like if I do that, as long as obviously the business has to, you can't say no if it's the police at the door. You know what I mean? Like there's some exception, but it's really, I guess I've never taken it that far. But if I want to stay focused, maybe I need to.
Mm-hmm. And we notice the same things. Like, you get these crazy ideas. You're like, well, if I did this, it would save me time to do that. And it sounds easy, and it'll cost $20, so I'll buy it. And then you end up spending the whole day, like, trying to implement it. We find that a lot.
Right. Right.
Like, we have a toaster oven to temper the blades after heat treat.
Right. Right.
And the temperature control on a toaster oven is not very good. Eric would see the temps fluctuate plus or minus. So we bought a PID controller from Amazon. It was like $50, and we're like, okay, yeah, we can wire it in. It's just a couple of wires. I'm good with wiring, but it took the majority of the day to like wire it and tune it and make it work properly. And at the end of the day, you're like, was that worth the invested time? Like,
yeah, right. Well, even picking up that grinder, I don't regret it. I don't regret buying it. I don't regret going it myself. But I didn't want to send Jared alone. He needed help, and I wanted to see it under power in case there was some reason to walk away from the deal. But then I was thinking about it, and between the actual mileage cost, the fact that it was 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. was literally leaving the shop to returning with the machine.
Okay. Yeah.
And then lost productivity. I mean, that's like really a $2,000 to $3,000 day.
Right, because 2 of you guys, the shop's not doing anything that day, basically.
Yep. Now that's not totally true, and I had him drive, and I used my wife's work phone, which has unlimited data, to do a hotspot, and I caught up on YouTube comments on the drive there and back.
Nice.
So not like totally lost, but still. It's funny because the bootstrapper in me would think if somebody was going to charge me $2,200 to rig it to my shop, then I would have said no. That's so much money. I could just go down and pick it up, but it costs a lot of money.
I totally understand. Yeah.
And I'm sitting here on Saturday and I haven't gotten something done that I really want to get done. And there was a day that I'm probably being too hard on myself, or maybe I'm not.
Yeah, it's that mentality of paying somebody cash to rig it for you. $2,200 is a lot of money. But when you think, because it's not like if you had worked that day, somebody's going to hand you $2,200 in cash. It's just it's all workflow. Like end of the month, it works out, right?
Right.
Your jobs get finished and you get paid.
That's fine. That's something I really want to talk about on a chip break, because I don't believe in annual budgets because years are so long,
Right.
and daily budgets it's too granular. But I really like weekly and monthly budgets.
Okay.
Well, it's like what you were talking about with batching up a pile to the end of the week.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, month to month, everything changes very fluidly. You know, one month could require a lot of expenses, and the next one, not as much.
Right. Awesome. Well, so my goal is I'm waiting for that piece to come back from Anodized to test fit all. Remember we were talking about on WhatsApp all the diameters on threads and bores with Anodized?
Right.
They said definitely go hard coat over a Type 2, so they are Type 3. I'll see what those are like, but it's nice because I can still machine the plate today, and I can put it back in the HOS because the Renishaw will pick up the locations just fine to remachine those.
It, yeah.
Right. And then we should be good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're sufficiently oversizing like the board diameters.
Well, that's what I don't know. I'm going to machine them to they're 1/2 inch. I'm going to probably machine them to 5/10 over, which will give me a good fit without anodize. And then he was saying the hard coat, I have to pull up the PO, but I think I spec the hard coat to 2000s, but anodizing specs half the thickness is in the material and half is addition.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, that's their terminology. So it should add 1 thou
per wall.
Let's see, so that would be, it's early in the morning. That would be adding 2 thou though.
Making the whole 2 thou smaller, yeah.
Exactly, right? So I should be reaming them, or I should be machining them to 5025.
Yeah.
For a good slip fit on a dowel pin.
Yeah.
And then like I was saying, I got to take that 5th axis off because I want to play. It works, but I think the cam is not going to be it's not just like adaptives or even surfacing cam. It's so much more complicated, and I can't. As much as I want to play with that, I should just right.
Like you don't need it tomorrow for the next job.
Yeah, but I want to prove it to myself that I can do it.
I know. I do the same thing.
But the truth is, it's not like if I look at the end of January and I look back, I would be happy if I made a bunch of these fixture plates and they were primo. Like I need to go Grimsmo on these products and have them be just phenomenally proud of them. Looking back on January, I'm not going to be happy if it's not going to upset me if I don't get the 5th axis running because I will I will. There's no reason to push that.
That's a really good way to phrase it.
What do you mean?
In 30 days or at the end of the month, like from today, it's January 7th. Put yourself at January 31st and look back and say, what will make me proud of what I did this month?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, that's a good way to phrase it.
It relieves some of the stress too, because I have a hard time saying no. Like I have a hard time being like, I want to do it all, and I can't.
Yeah, but you saying, I'm okay if I don't touch the 5th axis, or if I didn't touch it this month. But I would not be okay if I played with the 5 axis too much and I didn't get my jobs done.
Right.
I like that.
And it's a funny. We got to do this on another podcast, but that write your own obituary,
right?
But it's almost like the month's obituary instead of your life.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
And there's another funny thing, which is in high school we were taught. This is weird. We were always taught to do. We didn't have the same class every day, so you didn't have every class every day. That makes sense.
It wasn't all scheduled and straightforward.
Right. So if it was Monday night, we were taught Monday night, do your homework for Wednesday first at night, and then after that, do your homework for the next day, because that way it would force you to build in a buffer. And there's, of course, caveats to this if it's too much work or whatever. But basically, it's forcing you to do the little stuff that's not a deadline first. It's kind of counterintuitive. That way you can't skip. You have to do the other stuff. It's just, I guess, a way of imposing discipline. But it's interesting because sometimes that makes sense. But, if I have to machine something for tomorrow, machine the thing you don't have to do tomorrow first, get it done. And I've been trying to think of a way to articulate when that's a good strategy and when that's a terrible.
Right.
Because it's like we all know that stuff goes wrong and stuff takes longer. And,
You break your last end mill that you have, and then
Yeah, right.
Yep. Going back real quick to the thing you mentioned about wanting to make your fixture plates perfect.
Mm-hmm.
You remember the Peter Diamandis book, Bold?
No. Was I supposed to read that?
I think you listened to the audiobook. When we first met at the Tormac Open House, we talked about...
Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, bold thinking.
God, I don't remember it. Maybe that's because it was an audiobook.
It's been a big year and a half. Anyway, very, very cool guy. I recently got the book Bold after listening to the audiobook like a year and a half ago. And I read a quick quote that said, perfection is not optional.
Okay, but then how do you... This is like my thing. How do you balance that with somebody like Colin Powell, I think, had the quote, you get it to 80%. If you wait to get 100% of the information, you'll never make decisions.
Right.
And 80% quality is not what I'm recommending, but,
I think the definition of perfection has to be interpreted on a case-by-case basis. Eric and I talk about this all the time, like when he's polishing something, how polished does it really need to be considered perfect in the eyes of the customer? Perfect for us will never be achieved.
Right.
But,
So, and you don't do blems, right?
No.
Like,
we've done a few.
Out of principle.
We've done a few, and we engrave, like, sometimes we engrave oops after the serial number.
Okay. Yeah.
But you feel stupid sending it out there in the world, and then 6 months later you get some third-party guy that bought it, and, like, is this your normal work? And I'm like, no, this was a blem, and oops.
So, I like it, though. Different business, but with our mini pallets, the blems are, if it's screwed up, we throw it away. But like if it's a little blem that doesn't really affect the use and so forth, then it's great because it's a chance to offer it at a discount.
Yes.
Still very profitable, and keeps me from scrapping. It keeps I don't know. I actually I'm very intrigued by it.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, going back to this idea that it's basically a way to be able to afford perfection, knowing that if it isn't perfect, you can still make money on it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That works.
I don't know. How's the lathe running?
I actually haven't run it that much this week. I made
really?
a ton of screws, like 2,000 screws.
That's awesome.
Last week.
Just the bar feeder, or not bar feeder, but the sleeved titanium rods, and just going to town.
Yep.
That's
just
awesome.
Coming in the morning, turn it on, run it, and then run it all day, and then put a fresh bar in at 5 p.m., leave, and then it's going to run for another few hours.
So you just leave your air compressor on overnight?
Yep.
Yeah, I guess it's not a big deal.
No, it's not. Like, nothing. I don't really have any big leaks in my shop that constantly eat up air, and actually my lathe doesn't take any air.
What?
No.
You need that air on, though, don't you?
No. My lathe is completely hydraulic.
There's not a single air inlet to it?
No, it does have one for an air blast if you need it, but the machine operation doesn't use it whatsoever.
No kidding.
Yep.
Well, that's great, though. That's phenomenal. And that's you posted this on Instagram, I think, but that's where you're using the fake or the smaller torques and a torque setting on the lathe to check whether it machined the torque's head, which tells you tool breakage detection.
Exactly. And it worked fantastic. So I'm machining a T9 Torx and I'm putting a T8 Torx into it to see if it's working.
Yeah.
And it worked great up until the last maybe 200 screws that I did. And my Torx bit, my regular T9 Torx bit, doesn't fit into the machine Torx. So either the end mill was worn out, or I had replaced it and I put in a slightly smaller end mill. I don't know. So I had a bunch of screws that I had to pick through one by one and stick a driver in and make sure that they were working or not. It's kind of a pain in the butt.
Can you, instead of using a T8 to do the check, can you use a T9?
Yeah.
Or is it too tight?
I set that up, but I haven't tested it yet.
Got it.
So that's kind of my next thing. It'll be tight, but it should test this theory anyway.
Right. Or you, I guess, just have to do a schedule. This is like what I'm scared of with production, but you have to do like a scheduled tool change or tool replacement.
Yeah, or at least a scheduled check. Like I could, every 200 screws or whatever, I can go in and check if the Torx fits.
Yeah.
But hopefully this automated way should work pretty good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So I see we're coming up on about 30 minutes here. What do we want to cap this thing at?
Thank you for listening.
Yeah.
I don't know. No, look, I'm really excited for this. I think I know I get a lot out of our talks, and I think people will enjoy seeing the more casual. I hate the word intimate because it sounds weird, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
We actually I was really stressed yesterday with I was on the phone with a service tech on something, and then I had two people in the shop trying to meet with me at the same time. And I was filming the backside of that new Okamoto grinder to send a video to the service tech checking the hydraulic system on it. And I clicked upload to YouTube from my phone, but I have a new phone and the setting default is public instead of unlisted. Oh. And I sat down with my accountant for 40 minutes after I clicked upload, and there were 500 views on this 2-minute private video showing the under. Luckily, it was nothing big, but I was very embarrassed.
Oh, that's funny.
It was funny.
Wicked.
Yeah, awesome. Well, good. Anything stressful on computer or work today for you, or next week?
Not really.
Good.
Eric and I are finally getting into a really good rhythm, and things are starting to go really smoothly. We've got some fairly aggressive goals that we're going to work very hard to hit over the next few months. So, both privately and publicly, I'm going to have you keep me accountable for all that.
Awesome. keep posting on Instagram too about how you're shipping RAS pre-orders.
Yes. Yeah, I haven't posted much this week at all. I got to do that.
Yeah. Also, I'll let you know how we get along making that test plate.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Excellent.
I'll see you next Friday.
Sounds good. Have a good weekend.
Crush it, bud.
Okay, thanks. Bye.